Well, hello and welcome to Battle of Champions. It's match day -1. Just one day to go for that big India versus Pakistan encounter. And if you've been watching our coverage, guess what? It's a different day today. We were coming to you live yesterday. It was pouring. But today, happy to report that it's been clear skies since late afternoon here in Melbourne. And the weather update is good on Sunday as well. We'll get you all those details a little later in the program. I'm Nikhil Naz. Joining me, as always, Sunil Gavaskar. Sai, first thing, India versus Pakistan. They've played each other recently. They saw 2 games there in the Asia Cup. Who do you reckon goes in as the favourite in this encounter?
Well, in the T20 format, nobody is the favourite because one over can change the game completely. So it's that one over from where a batsman scores 20-25 runs or a bowler takes 2 wickets for not too many that can derail the opposition. So it's very difficult to say who's the favourite. In fact, as far as apart from tomorrow's game, winning the cup, there are so many teams in contention because today just about every team has got a very good T20 squad.
Yeah, that actually leads me perfectly into my next bit because, as we said, nobody is a favourite. What does that tell you? Because Australia, as defending champions, came into this tournament as the favourites. They've lost the first game versus New Zealand. New Zealand not in great form, didn't win that series at home as well, the tri-series that they played, but they won today. 200 is what New Zealand, take a look at that scorecard, 200 is what New Zealand put up. Batting first, all thanks to Devon Conway. He was the man in form. Finn Allen actually assisted him. Australian bowlers going for plenty. The likes of Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, all of them going for plenty of runs. Mitchell Starc, the standout bowler as far as the Australian bowling lineup is concerned. Stoinis went for plenty. Not a great bowling card for the Australian team. As far as their batting is concerned, that was even more disappointing than their bowling. Bolt picking up 2 wickets, then 3 wickets apiece there for the rest of the New Zealand bowlers, coming up with great figures in Tim Southee picking up 3 wickets and Mitchell Santner, the 2 standout bowlers for New Zealand. So I know that I built Australia as the favourite. They're the defending champions, but New Zealand beating Australia, would that count as an upset?
It will. It will because look, even in the finals last year, Australia beat New Zealand. So and the recent tri-series in Australia, New Zealand was swamped. They didn't win anything.
Yeah.
So clearly, I think you have to say that this is an upset. Yes, there's always a difference between a bilateral event and a multi-country event. Because in a multi-country event, you realize that you really don't have second innings, second options. In a bilateral series, because it's a 4 or 5 match series, you always have that option, okay, I don't do well, it's the next match to be played, or the match after that. It doesn't happen in a multi-country tournament. So every match becomes important. And in a situation like that, a lot of teams raise the level of their game, just like New Zealand did today.
New Zealand getting 200. They weren't getting those kind of totals when I was watching the tri-series versus Pakistan. Is that an indication of 2 things? One, that you're playing in Australia where you'll get batting friendly conditions. The other, that it's the T20 World Cup and maybe the pass score is now moving up in the 200 range.
Certainly. I mean, you look at all the formats of the game. Thanks to the innovations that the batsmen are indulging in now, no bowler is immune from being attacked. Even the finest of bowlers get taken for runs in an unorthodox manner. So what it has done is, in a test match situation as well, if in the old days a score of 190 to 225 was considered a good total, now you have totals of 280, 300. In one-day cricket, when 225, 250 was thought of as a pass score, today that's not a pass score. Today you're looking at 300, 300 plus. And so also in T20. There was a time in T20 when 140, 150 was thought of as a winning score. It doesn't happen now. You have to score 180 plus to give yourself a good chance.
Was it also part of the team talk that the Indian team may have had right before the encounter? As Sahibhai was mentioning, that we've seen the pass score go up. We heard from the Indian captain in Rohit Sharma. Pakistan skipper Babar Azam also came, spoke about the game. You heard the Indian skipper Rohit Sharma talk about the India-Pakistan encounter. And one thing that he did speak about was the ICC trophy. It's been 9 years since India last won. That was the Champions Trophy. And he was asked whether, that creates a lot of pressure. He says no. I think pressure would be the wrong word. Challenge, yes. So what does that tell you? One, that maybe they are aware of this fact that yes, they need to rectify that record. And the other, do you see it as a positive spin, the way they're approaching this tournament?
Definitely, yes. Look, if you look at it as pressure, then you are going to feel the pressure. If you look upon it as a challenge, there's always the incentive to overcome the challenge. And I think that is a very nice way of the captain to put it to the public as well as to his team. Yeah. Yes, it's going to be a challenge beating the Pakistanis after they have beaten us the last time around. It will be a challenge against their bowling. It's going to be a challenge how to bowl to them. And against the Australians, South Africans, whoever they are going to play. So I think the moment you put it down as a challenge, it certainly becomes an incentive for everybody to raise the level of their game.
I understand that, Indian fans want an ICC trophy. And as Rohit there has said, that maybe this is something that they're wary of as well. They want to work on this, rectify that record. One thing that we've seen the Indian team do differently this time, we saw most other big tournaments when they came in, they were a bit undercooked, mainly because they came underprepared. They came right at the tournament. For example, the last T20 World Cup. You had the IPL right after it got over, you got into a T20 World Cup. This time things have changed. They came here 20 days in advance, played some practice games, some warm-up games. Do you think they're better prepared, better organized this time?
Definitely, no question about it. They've taken all the possible precautions to make sure that they come totally prepared for this. Coming to Australia, where the body clock is one of the main difficulties or challenges, because it sometimes takes you more than 4 or 5 days for your body to get used to the Australian time, because the flight timings and all are not very convenient. And so that's a big challenge when you go to Australia and when you go to New Zealand. So to come 20 days before means that they've overcome that very quickly, after which they've played a few matches, and which is always good. More importantly, as a team, they've been able to gel together. Sometimes, when you come together, you played the IPL, within a week you're playing another tournament, ICC tournament. Where is the time for the players to gel together? You're playing against each other for a long time, for your different franchises. There's just that intensity. And then you come together as a team. Maybe you're still looking at your teammate as an opponent. Not this time around. So yes, I think they're very well prepared, and I do hope that all that preparation gives the results that the whole of Indian cricket, all the Indian cricket fans are looking for.
Talking about the fans, I caught up with a few fans. I was there at the practice session of the Indian team. It felt like, I'm saying it's match day -1. It is a day before the game, but it felt like it was match day. You had plenty of Indian fans, plenty of Pakistani fans. That also Melbourne allows you, because the practice facilities are open to public. You can actually walk in, watch your favorite players practice. Virat Kohli was on display. I saw plenty of fans, a lot of Pakistani fans, big Virat Kohli fans, watching him. Let's listen into all the fans, the things that they have planned. There was a bit of banter also between them. Let's listen into the fans and how they're gearing up for this very crucial encounter. Still got a day to go for that big India versus Pakistan encounter, but things are heating up. I'm right at the Big G, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and fans are already turning up. Guys, you're a day early. The game's tomorrow.
We're here from US, so it's, ever since we are here, it's been game from day one. So, we can't wait for tomorrow and see the in-swinging Yorkers from Shami. Okay,
give me one quick reason you think that Pakistan can win the game versus India.
Well, our bowling is really good. Our batting is top order at least. It's 152 for no loss. It's a very recent memory. We're pretty good.
So we think we are, the players are more confident.
तो आपने अब सूर्य की चमक नहीं देखी है, वो सूर्य की चमक अब फैलने वाली है. आप लोगों को अपने आप को कवर करना ही पड़ेगा.
मेरे एक ही दरख्वास्त है मेरे सारे पाकिस्तानी फ्रेंड से कि आप प्लीज दरख्वास्त है कि आपको चाहिए आप एक कुत्ता पालो, लेकिन ये गलत फहमी मत पालना कि आप इंडिया से जीतने वाले हो.
You guys can fight and argue, but in one thing that you need to come together is look up to the skies and pray to the Almighty, whoever you pray to.
From India, when we get back from India, we're praying from India.
You guys too? There's one thing, if that's common, you want the skies to clear up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
You come all the way from
we want the conditions to be overcast, so, there's swing, but no rain. So that's what we want. That would be like ideal for us.
But don't forget, now you've got Shami in India's rank. You've got Bhuvaneshwar Kumar.
They say think before you wish. You know, you never know.
You never know.
निखिल जी, आपके शहर में मेलबर्न, आपके शहर में ढोल भी आ गए, हिंदुस्तान का इतना बड़ा झंडा भी आ गया.
मुझे लग रहा है इंडिया में हूँ, ऐसे लग ही नहीं रहा कि मेलबर्न में इस वक्त खड़ा हूँ. ये एक बार आप फटाफट से ये फ्लैग दिखा देंगे हिमांशु जी, ये देखिए इतना लंबा फ्लैग.
अमेजिंग. अच्छा, सबसे बड़ी राहत को ये है कि सूरज देवता आ गए.
सूरज देवता की वापस
मतलब बरसात को लेके सबको बड़ी टेंशन।
कल बरसात
नहीं होगी।
कल बरसात
नहीं होगी बरसात। बरसात के नाम पे टोल बजा दो फिर। कल रोहित शर्मा ने इतने छक्के मार रहे हैं, बादलों में होल हो जा रहे हैं।
मजा आएगा इंशाल्लाह कल।
मजा आएगा।
कल आएगा
तो इंडिया भाई
कल देखेंगे।
देखो मजा बहुत आएगा, पर जीतेगा इंडिया।
तभी तो मजा
जैसे
आएगा
एशिया कप जीते थे।
शाहिनशाह अफरीदी को लेके काफी उत्साह है पाकिस्तानी खेमे में, और कल मैंने उनको प्रैक्टिस करते भी देखा है, प्रैक्टिस मैचेस में भी देखा है। जबरदस्त बॉलिंग अटैक पाकिस्तान के पास,
जी।
वही बैटिंग भारत की। इन दोनों की लड़ाई
बहुत जबरदस्त लड़ाई कल जाएगी। होपफुली बारिश नहीं होगी, जो कि हम देख रहे हैं। इंडिया की बैटिंग एज ऑलवेज टॉप पे होती है। जो उनका
कौन आपका फेवरेट इंडियन प्लेयर?
ऑब्वियसली विराट कोहली जो है।
विराट
ऑब्वियसली
की बहुत फैन फॉलोइंग।
सबको मानना पड़ेगा।
इस टाइम सूर्य कुमार यादव भी फॉर्म में है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर सूर्य कुमार यादव को सिर्फ आधा गेम भी मिल गया तो वो एक तरफ मैच कर डालेगा। विराट कोहली, विराट कोहली, I just don't think you understand. Virat's a Superman, Virat's a Superman. We got Virat Kohli, Virat Kohli, Virat Kohli. I just don't think you understand. Virat's a Superman, Virat's a Superman. We got Virat Kohli.
The fans are all geared up for the India-Pakistan encounter. Many of them have come from all across the globe to watch this encounter live. But the big question so far, the last 3 or 4 days that we've been here, has been whether the weather gods would be kind, whether the rain would stay away, and whether we'll get a full game. I've got some good news for you. Here's the weather report on Sunday here at Melbourne. It's not Babar Azam, it's not Virat Kohli or even Rohit Sharma. The number one trending topic here in Melbourne at the moment, and has been for the last few days, has been the weather. Because it was expected that the big game between India and Pakistan to be played on 23rd October may not happen because of the rain forecast. Now, let me give you the latest on that. It's been almost 3 days that I've been here and the weather forecast has continued to change. Before I took the flight from Delhi to Melbourne, it was a prediction of 100% rain that would happen on 23rd. That came down to close to about 80% the day I landed. The next day it was 60%, followed by 30% yesterday. And today, as things stand right now, there isn't any chance of rain in the evening. That is the Sunday, the 23rd of October, the day India and Pakistan will be playing. So that's great news. Anyway, Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, had come for the press conference and he said that he was hoping that we get to see the full 40 overs because that's what the players prepare for. Both teams would like to play 40 overs. He also said, listen, you got to take a look at the fans as well. They pay good money to watch 40 overs of cricket. No point playing a shortened game of 10 overs or 8 overs aside. So full game looks like on the card because the weather has really cleared up. It was raining today, a day before the game on Saturday in the morning, but that was only till about 2 in the afternoon. After that, the weather has cleared up. How did the rain affect the team's preparation? Well, Pakistan had a morning practice session. They couldn't practice outdoors because of the rain, so they did an indoor training session. India luckily had optional training session 2 days before, but the entire team was supposed to practice today. That was under threat, but the rain gods changed their mind. The sun was out and the Indian team got a full practice session in good sunlight and could then try and practice all their plans for their game. So they had a full practice session. Pakistan, on the other hand, have now scheduled another practice session at night at 8 p.m. on Saturday. They'll do some fielding drills, which they couldn't do earlier in the day. So that's the latest from Melbourne. Good news, it's still expected to rain, maybe some sort of drizzle on the morning of Sunday here in Melbourne, but the game is only in the evening. That's 7 p.m. Melbourne time and 1:30 p.m. India time. It's expected to be clear at the time. This is Nikhil Naz for India Today, live from Melbourne. Okay, so weather news is great from Melbourne. Things have cleared up. Hopefully we'll get a full game of 40 overs. In fact, Rohit Sharma was asked that. He said on 2 accounts he would want the game to be a full-fledged game. One, he says that, listen, fans pay good money. They deserve to see 40 overs. The other, he says that both teams, he reckons, would want to play an entire quota of 40 overs because you come prepared for that. If it's a shortened game, it doesn't benefit anybody.
That is correct. But I think every captain has to be prepared, particularly in Melbourne, that the weather could interfere after the game has started. And so pick your 11 accordingly. If the weather interference means that already before the first ball is bowled or before the toss is done, you know that it's going to be maybe a 10 over a side game or 8 over a side game, you can pick your squad accordingly. But once the toss is done for a proper 20 overs a side match and suddenly the rains come in, then what do you want to do? That is, I think, going to be the key as far as picking your 11 is concerned.
What do you think, let's say, for example, as you said, if it's a shortened game, be prepared for it. And if the shortened game is announced before the toss, you can change your 11. What do you think, let's say, in India can do? Can you then look at not having an all-rounder? Because sometimes you try and fit an all-rounder or a spin all-rounder because you need the 6th bowling option. But if it's a shortened game, you say, okay, fine, I'll go in with just 5 bowlers. Let me pack myself with more batsmen. Is that something that you look at?
Something that you want to do because more than anything else, it's your batting that will win you the match. Because in an 8 or 10 overs a side game, it's 2 overs per bowler. So 2 overs means you can bowl your 5 bowlers who can bowl 2 overs. But the batting, because you're going to go hell bent for leather. You could lose 2 wickets in the first 3 overs. But if you have a little bit of depth in batting, you can still recover.
Okay, finally, because we were talking about the playing 11, Rohit Sharma was asked about Mohammad Shami and he comes out and says that, listen, he bowled that 1 over only because we were easing him in. He was ready to bowl all the 4 overs in the next practice game or the warm-up game. It didn't happen. Is that also an indication? And then he wraps up by saying, and we are hoping that by the time the tournament comes across, Mohammad Shami does what he does best. Is that an indication that he could be the guy who starts for the Indian 11?
I think he should. I think the way he bowled, it certainly should. Because India needs a little bit of extra pace. And that's the extra pace that Shami can provide. Without Bumrah, India does not have a pace bowler. They've got a fine swing bowler in Bhuvi, outstanding swing bowler. You've got a very fine young guy called Arshdeep Singh. But you want somebody who's got that extra pace. And Mohammad Shami can give you that extra pace.
We'll find out what the Indian 11 is. But for that, you need to really tune in to India today and come for our live coverage. Remember, a Battle of Champions come through to you at 6:30 p.m. through the week. That's where we bring you all the analysis, latest updates from here in Melbourne. We're coming to you live from Ground Zero, the venue of India versus Pakistan encounter. And I've said it many times before that, you've really got to be there to experience what it feels like. As far as the emotions are concerned, you heard from the fan. And the weather gods, for now, seem to be kind. That's all that I have for you at the moment. Nikhil Nas signing off from Melbourne.